Hey, all right, okay. You know, I'm at Mac's Pub, and we're having a little. We're learning a new way to do this. Mikey Boy's home in my house at the broadcast studio. Mikey Lolo's here. We got some new help. Zoe, she's phenomenal. She's doing a great job for us as well. So we're back, and we're better than ever because every week we mix it up with two of the best in the business. David Eisenbach joins us right now, Columbia professor, presidential historian, candidate for New York City public advocate. And John Burnett is also with us. He's a Republican. If you can't tell by his background, he's managing director at One Empire Group. And, you know, every week these guys come on and we just say it like it is. David and John rarely agree. Sometimes they do. When they do agree, I ring the bell. But David, you said to us on this show 2 weeks ago, to John and I, it's over. Categorically.
Yes.
And it's not over.
Oh, no, please, guys. All right. Explain to me how it's not over yet.
There's time still on the clock, David. And we have the ball.
I never seen David this happy before. I guess he.
Oh man, I just feel sorry for you guys living in your fantasy world, and I hope when that day finally comes, when your dreams get crushed, you're not too broken up.
I'm not living in a fantasy land. I'm just a material girl living in a material world. I'm not fantasy land. Dave, I think it's not over until January 6th. I think that's when the fat lady sings. And Johnny B, there's a lot of evidence coming out. We just had a professor from Case Western University, and he says that although there's no precedent, there is a possibility. Could this thing still go the other way in your view, JB?
Well, the thing is that, you know, when you factor in the audit in I believe it was Michigan and other evidence, this is credible evidence. So the argument that the fraud that had taken place is not enough to overturn the election when the vote spread wasn't that large. I think people are actually engaging in willful blindness here. And it's not just this election, it's our whole democracy, right? That's directly linked to our republic. This is actually speaks to the values that we proclaim versus how those values are actually played out in the electoral process. There are countless examples. The last time I had mentioned, how do you have X number of mail-in ballots just by having the ballots, and then you have less envelopes, right? There are so many different elements.
Evidence is so clear. How is it possible that with a 6-3 majority on the Supreme Court wouldn't even listen to you? Wouldn't even listen to you. How is that possible?
Well, the issue is, look, the Supreme Court I hold in high regard, each individual and as a collective body, right? But even they're no different than the other the other branch in terms of Congress, right? We have elected officials that are also willfully blinded when it comes to the evidence and information.
Okay,
right?
so you're holding somehow is in on this rigging of the election, as is 35. I think there was 35 different lawsuits that have been rejected.
David, all your points, all your points, David, only relate to the individual bodies of people. You never talk about the evidence, David. When I mention a
single piece of credible evidence,
always revert back to
by a single judge,
legislative individuals, and not the actual evidence. So you're engaging into the same willful blindness, David, because you don't want to talk about the evidence.
The willful blindness that I share with the majority of every Supreme Court,
of the progressive justices, yes,
and every judge who has heard any of those arguments, the arguments that you're trying to make. So, yeah, I'm blind, and every other judge.
Again, viewers note that David does not want to discuss the actual evidence.
That's right, JB.
He only wants to discuss.
There is no evidence.
No evidence.
Somebody just making a false claim.
Willful blindness. Okay.
Only one judge that considers
great civilizations have fallen because people were willfully blinded.
All right. When you find a judge that actually thinks that any of your evidence is credible, get back to me.
Let's educate the individuals that are watching this show and not just regurgitate what other people said.
Well,
let's feed them information so they can make their own determination.
You couldn't get one judge
America.
All right. I gotta step in. I really have to use the gavel with you guys. I gotta bring down the gavel for a minute. No bell. I want to talk about this. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the squad have now declared war on Nancy Pelosi, and AOC said yesterday that she thinks they need new leadership. David, this is the slimmest majority they've had in years, and now we see a huge fracture. What does this mean?
Well, it means the question is, does AOC really believe what she's saying here? Is she willing? The big test and the big divide that's happening in the Democratic Party right now is using Medicare for all, a floor vote on Medicare for all, right, in exchange for a vote for Nancy Pelosi. Will AOC demand Medicare for all floor vote in exchange for her vote for Pelosi? And we could have a potential where there is a revolt within the Democratic House membership. Nancy Pelosi does not win speakership, and they come up with another.
To that. Everybody would love to see that.
This is what the progressive want. If the Republicans can bring Obamacare repeal 70 times to the floor for a vote, why the heck can't we bring Medicare for all to a vote? Is it going to win in the Senate? No, but neither was repeal of Obamacare. This is what we want. Nancy Pelosi won't give it to us. We need a new speaker.
JB, I love seeing a food fight break out on the left wing of the Democrat Party with this slim majority. We got a minute left. This is probably good for us.
Absolutely. The reason why they want to vote now is because they have a larger margin, right? Because when the new Congress comes in, as David pointed out, it'll be very narrow. I think only about 10 rep difference. So they want to actually, before the new Congress takes place, vote now. To David's point, they know it's not going anywhere in the Senate. They want this as additional leverage over the moderate Democrats.
And we want to see,
get your popcorn ready, get the salt, get the butter, get the Twizzlers. This is
I want representatives who believe in what they say. We want to out all the phonies who say they're for Medicare for all, but really aren't.
All right. Well, look, one thing is for sure, John Burnett, David Eisenbach, they're no phonies. We call it like we see it. We hash it out. And one thing we do all the time is shake hands and part friends because all opinions matter. Guys, thank you very much for mixing it up with us. Eisenbach, Burnett, boom. Thanks, guys. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with more Liquid Lunch right after this. I'm going to amaze, and amuse you with some news of the day and a few comedic little memes I found during the week. We'll be back right after this.